just slightly after 1:45 on Friday the 13th, January 2023. And I am just really happy to be able to make it back on for a quick afternoon live. It's a busy day, there's lots going on. Um, yeah, crazy life, huh? Trying to get too much done, but I really enjoy doing this with you guys. So it's one of my top priorities. I hope that you can hear me. And if anyone is able to type something into the chat just to say hi, then I know everything's working. Hey, Pixie Knickers. Thank you, sweetheart. You're the best. So I want to keep this kind of light because this has to be a short one. I don't have a lot of time. Hey, Sifa. Hello again. Thanks for the email. And Squirrely Burger. Oh my goodness. See, look at this. We got a great little group of us already. So let's keep this light. Um, let's talk about the Idaho 4 case for just a second and just a little laugh if it's appropriate. I feel like it is. You know, we call the criminal defendant until he's proven guilty in a court of law. And I would believe that there's a possibility of, I don't know, him being framed or something. If not for the look in his eyes that he gave to his dad when the Indiana State Trooper pulled him over, asked him where he was going, and he said, "We're going to go get some Thai food." "Yeah, we like Thai food. We're heading on our way to get some Thai food." And his dad chimed in with, "Well, he's a student at Washington State University, lives in Pullman, and we're headed to our home in the Poconos Hills in Pennsylvania." And you see the Nothing Burger's eyes like pop out of his head like the Roger Rabbit cartoon. Have you guys all caught that? It is just classic. Just classic. I could watch that like 20 times in a row. It's unbelievable. Like he's kind of keeping his cool the whole time, except for the one where his eyes do the Roger Rabbit thing. So let me read a few of your Rona Jane. I just got the first notification and the second one right after. I was holding my phone. Very cool. Very cool. And, you know, I used a little thumbnail of Kristen Pfaff, a beautiful black and white photograph of her playing the guitar. So I'm excited to talk about her some more and the other cases that go with her case in my mind, in my opinion. Oh, and let me just say, everything I say is simply my opinion, simply for the sake of having a conversation, hoping to open up a discussion and trying to be educational and gain education. Made specifically for this YouTube platform that we are so grateful for. And YouTube, as we all know, is an entertainment platform. So there we go. Covered all the bases. So let me see. I slept in today and missed your other lives, but sleep is so good, Squirrely Burger. I am jealous. Hey, Susan. Hey, you guys. Driving but lurking. I thought it said turking, but that's just my glasses, and that would be funny too. Driving but turking. Squirrely Burger says, "I'm telling you or asking you to go check out that YouTube channel. A young kid, the name of it is True Crime. The way he speaks and his very deep swallowing between statements is disturbing." Oh, please share, Squirrely Burger. Please tell. I don't remember you saying anything before. Did you say it before and we didn't catch it? Monique Cole is doing a timestamp, which I really appreciate. 1:49 p.m. Happy Friday the 13th. Squirrely Burger says, plus he has all of these theories about the criminal defendant, which is very weird. And Pam Rex says, Ted Bundy killed the 4 college girls. Was actually 15 minutes. I did not know that. Wow. Unbelievable. So, Squirrely Burger, if you can fill us in, if you know the name of this channel or have any more information, let me see if you had said anything about it. I don't see it here. Maybe you said it in an earlier chat. But yeah, I'm super curious. Super, super curious. So you guys, have you heard that the Federal Bureau of Investigation has actually admitted that they did put the Indiana State Trooper up to the pullover stops on on that was it December 15th. So those two stops that were 5 hours apart. And there was a lot of miscommunication about those two stops. They were both for tailgating. Um, and like stated, they were 5 hours apart. So, Indiana's not that big of a state. I think you can get through Indiana in 5 hours if you tried. I mean, I live right next to it, and yeah, going to Chicago, um, you can get there pretty quick. You can get through Indiana pretty quick. So, I'm thinking that they pulled him over as soon as he got into Indiana. I'll have to look and see. I know I have the name of the county written down, but I haven't Googled it to see right where it is. And then I thought the second stop was around Indianapolis. So maybe they had stopped for food or something, for some Thai food. Okay, so let's see. Squirrely Burger says true crime time. I did mention it yesterday or the day before. He just started his channel for this case. Well, thank you. So are you saying that he's good or that he's creepy or that he's good and creepy? Um, but I remember you saying it, and I'm going to write it down again. True crime time. I think I've come across it. But yeah, we'll check that out. So going back to the Kristen Pfaff case, as I mentioned earlier, and I've mentioned on other occasions when I've spoken about it, um, the three top grunge bands on Capitol Hill, three top female grunge bands in 1992 were 7 Year Bitch, The Gits, and Hole. So Stephanie Sargent passed away on June 27th, 1992, a heroin overdose. She had cleaned up. She wasn't doing heroin anymore. Not to say that it's impossible, but that's the story. Mia was abducted and essayed and mutilated, and that guy, it took 10 years to put him in prison, and then he died of COVID in prison a couple of years ago. So her tragedy was on July 7th of 93. And then Kristen Pfaff passed away. Again, she had been addicted to heroin. She had cleaned up, and she allegedly died of a heroin overdose on June 16th, 94. So just about a year apart. The 27th of June, July 7th, and then June 16th. So 92, 93, and 94. And just interesting timing, in my opinion. Somebody's date of birth is July 9th. Just going to leave it right there. And all of these rock stars, local rock stars, were a couple of years younger than somebody whose name Beetlejuice shall go unsaid. And Squirrely Burger says that he's creepy. So are you like suspicious of him, that he's up to something? Because some of these channels I definitely am suspicious of and think that they're up to something. So I'm curious if you have an opinion that you want to share about that, Squirrely Burger. As we know also that Kurt Cobain passed away allegedly of a drug overdose as well. Is that all right? The angle there? On what was it? I didn't write it down. I want to say it was April 9th, 94. Probably not April 9th, 94, if anybody knows. I thought I wrote it down, but I don't see it. Anyway, it was April of 1994. It was a couple of months before Kristen Pfaff. And July 17th of 1994, I came across a really informative Los Angeles Times article from July 17th of 1994 that kind of like tied it all together the way I tie it all together right then and there. So like, a month after Kristen Pfaff passed away, they were not coming to any conclusions. They were not pointing any fingers, But I'm just saying, this article from the Los Angeles Times, July 17th, 1994. Maybe I'll see if I can post it in my community tab. Let's see. Squirrely Burger says, yes, most definitely. It was there potentially another defendant. He would be my first suspect. Oh, the guy in the on the channel, the True Crime Time. Is that what you're saying? Interesting. Thank you for sharing that info. Pixie Knicker says, Annie Ruler says, wow, squirrely. Criminal defendant alleged family member says accomplice did cocaine with criminal blah, 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 criminal defendant. I had read about that, Annie Ruler. I think Evil Exists just did a 1 or 2 minute video about that, and I'm not buying it. I mean, it's plausible, but I'm not buying it. Squirrely Burger says, no problem texting Knickers. I think you meant Pixie Knickers, but you're doing like voice to text. I think that this community should be on the lookout and guide each other if able to with truth or even speculation until the truth is known. I agree wholeheartedly, Squirrely Burger. I've said it again and again. I really like sharing with you guys, my viewers, the channels that I trust and that I enjoy. And I do not like to speak negatively about other channels. However, when there's one that I feel like is pretty dangerous, I will go ahead and mention them by name. But I just don't like to. I like to stay positive. I like to stay on the up and up. Squirrely Burger says, I think his sister wrote that. That's freaking brilliant. Was it also Evil Exists that had a video a few days ago of what looks like his sister at the crime scene with an old video camera? Or no, that was Crime Circus. Sorry, Drip Drop. Want to give you your credit. So yeah, on Drip Drop's last video, I think it's 3 days now, he has a photograph of a woman that looks just like the criminal defendant's sister with a old school camcorder videotaping at the crime scene. So I think that that's highly likely, Squirrely Burger, that his sister wrote that. Annie Ruler says, wait and see, might explain some diversions with the car. Yeah. Hey, Phantasmic Ether. Nice to see you here. So let me ask you guys to hit the thumbs up and share and subscribe if you feel so inclined. And, you know, I keep moving my lights around and my scenery. And I want you guys to know that I'm totally open to feedback. It just seems to me that it's impossible to get it. It's impossible. So I try not to worry about it. I try to just do what I can and focus on my content. I appreciate your patience with me on that. The lighting thing is crazy. You know, all of these people would send me emails and say you should get a ring light, and it was so funny because I already have 2 ring lights. So I have one over here and one over here. And then, you know, the rest is just kind of a crapshoot because I'm not in a closet. You know, I'm in an open room. I block out all the light from the windows so that it's controlled. But you know, that diffused light, if you don't have it completely under control, like in a closed room with no windows, it's really tricky. And if you notice, it'll change even like through the video. So that's some of the light coming in the windows and maybe the computer doing its own thing too, the way artificial intelligence does. Pixie Knicker says, why was his sister there? What? How can they allow that if it's true? Good questions. Good questions. Yeah. Check out that Drip Drop video, that Crime Circus video from a couple of days ago. If you haven't yet, Pixie Knickers. It's fascinating. And yeah, maybe it's a doppelganger. I think that's what Drip Drop says. So he doesn't know for sure that it's her, but it looks stunningly exactly like her. And she's got the criminal defendant's eyes. Okay, Squirrely Burger says, yes, she was out there videoing the outside of the, and I think you mean house, the House of Horrors. what is she gonna do? Try to make another horror movie? This time her brother's the star. Oh my goodness, that is a little too spot on, Squirrely Burger. Chilling. It's really chilling. So yeah, for those who don't know, the criminal defendant has two sisters. They're both older. I believe one is 34 right now and one is 31. They're both counselors of sorts, psychotherapists, and one of them starred or had a main role. I don't know if it was the lead role. I haven't seen it. A slasher movie back in 2011. If anybody has the name of it, I don't think I have the name handy and it's not on the top of my mind. But pretty weird. So 11 years ago, she was in this slasher movie of all things. And so that's what Squirrely Burger is referring to. Pixie Knicker says, wow, with a squirrel and a burger. That's cute. That is too cute. I love squirrels and I love burgers. Okay. YouTube, don't like me, no notification. Your lighting is always fine. Some only have fake pics and lips moving. Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. Um, Pixie Knickers says 2 feet, and I don't know what Pixie Knickers is. Oh, the movie. The movie. It is something like that, isn't it? Something like 2 feet. I can't remember. I bet you can Google it real quick if you wanted to. Squirrely Burger says you can clear out one of your closets like Captain Kurt. LOL. It works great for him. I just like to be in an open space. Yeah, I never understood why people did their Zoom meetings in these tiny little rooms. I'd be like, why don't you just hang out in your living room and do it? But now I know it's just because of the lighting. The lighting is funky. And my issue, I think for many people, it's not a matter of not having enough light. It's a matter of too much light and things get flooded out. So, yes, I would clear out one of my closets if I could, if I had an extra closet. But yeah, I'm working on it. I mean, I think it'd be nice to have just like a regular studio setup so I don't have to move things around. All right. So, let's see. We are just at 17 minutes. It's 5 minutes after 2. I just wanted to talk about the Kristen Pfaff case. To me, it's fascinating and it's extremely heartbreaking. I think that Kristen Pfaff and her family were robbed of justice. It's a very suspicious situation. I mentioned this earlier on the earlier live. There's the Paul Erickson that was the last person to have seen her. No. I'm sorry. Paul Erickson was the one who found her the next morning. Eric Erlinson, so very weird names. Paul Erickson found her. Eric Erlinson, who was maybe the drummer in Hole, but also had dated her at one point and had been her dealer at one point. He was the last one to see her alive, allegedly. And I mentioned earlier about the multiple pages missing from her journals, the dates from when Cobain was missing. And again, it was only 2 months after he was found deceased from a massive heroin overdose. I think it's like 7 or 10 times the amount of heroin that it would take to overdose was found in Kurt's system, plus the whole thing with the shotgun. I mean, just a bizarre setup. Let me read what I wrote down here, that there's some people who think that that local police department had active complicity in concocting fraud in the death of one of the most talented musicians of all times. Um, I'm not the only person who's on these cases. Obviously, we all know that Cobain's been under a lot of scrutiny for what I just stated, for potential conspiracy theories. And I used to think that that was just crazy potential conspiracy theories until I learned a lot more about it. And here we are. Um, it's 30 years ago this summer since Mia Zapata passed away. So we're almost at 29 years since Kurt Cobain passed away. And and then Kristen Pfaff. And the year prior, obviously, Zapata, and then the year before Zapata was Stephanie Sargent. And it just seems like too many coincidences. I'll just put it like that and read a couple of your things here. Rhonda R says, do you watch Charlotte Green Truth Seeker? She does videos on Kylie. I do. I haven't seen any lately, but I've been trying to keep up with the folks who've been doing new stuff on Kylie. Yeah, the imprints, another one that you might be familiar with. I think your videos are fine. I was just joking. Oh, thanks, Squirtly Burger. Okay, because yeah, I was thinking, I know, I should clean out a closet and just sit in a little dark room with my light. Doing them outside is really nice, but that's really hard with the light. That's super hard with the light. Maybe if you have fancy filters or something, I don't know. I don't have any of that. But let's talk about just the lies, the manipulation tactics of a narcissist, and trying to control the narrative. It doesn't take a lot to plant seeds, especially when you have a high profile case like Kurt Cobain. And, we knew that he was struggling. We knew that he was depressed. We knew that he was an addict. He didn't try to hide any of that. And I don't think that there was evidence of an unaliving self. And I don't think that the investigators thought that there was evidence of an unaliving self. But the way it all went down was that he had shot himself. I think on paper that's like cause of death when he had 7 or 10 times the amount of heroin in his system already. So even if he wasn't dead yet from getting that into his system, he would not have been conscious, if you follow. I'm sure a lot of you know a lot about the case and some of you may not. But I think that I think it's one that I'm going to start focusing on because it's very dear to my heart. I've shared with you guys that some people that are very close to me were very close with me as Zapata, like super, super close. And I honestly barely knew these people. But the folks that were tight with Mia were also tight with Stephanie Sargent. And those 3 bands, Hole, The Gits, and 7 Year Bitch, those 3 bands were all close. And Nirvana, the 4 bands were all pretty tight. Again, they were all the Capitol Hill grunge scene, which is just like one little speck in downtown Seattle, literally up on the hill. The hill goes downtown and then out to the Puget Sound. So at the top of the hill is Capitol Hill, and it's a cool, funky place. Pretty safe, except for the night that Mia's life was taken. But let me read a few of your comments here. The grunge movement, yes. Kurt had Nirvana and Courtney had her group Hole. I still think she had something to do with it. She called election for that room he was in. So yeah, and they had a prenup. They were getting a divorce, but she had wanted a prenup because when they got married, she had more money than him. So when they were getting divorced, it was a different story. And the divorce was already like going through the process, but like the ink hadn't dried or something. Right. Rhonda says the electric guy came out to fix the electric in that room. Oh, called the electrician. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, it was really weird. So Tom Grant was a private investigator that she hired to find Kurt in those days that he was missing. And Tom Grant has been on the case solid ever since. So 29 years. And he's got a lot to say about it. I think she was only paying him for about a year and a half. And then he continued. I don't know the whole story, but I'm sure he's written some books about it too. If you look up Tom Grant, private investigator. I'm off to do more work on this book. Stay safe, stay smiling. Oh, you're working on a book, Monique. Very cool. Foul play, Rhonda R says. Absolutely. Absolutely. And just the whole thing with the person, the lead singer for Hole, allegedly dating the coroner of the Seattle Police Department, allegedly dating the police chief of the Seattle Police Department, who has since gone on record stating, and he's retired, but stating that is if he were able to, he would go back and reopen that case, that he felt like that was the biggest, that whole case was the biggest shit show of his career. That's not a quote, but that's a summary of what he has said in interviews. Rhonda says, huge Nirvana fan. Yeah, they're amazing, aren't they? So amazing. And Foo Fighters, too. I really like them as well. I watched Kaylee's family short documentary on Chronicles of Olivia. It was sad. Um, yeah, and that is a channel that I feel like is really toxic because that channel was the one who planted the plastic water bottle in the grass. I'm allegedly, in my humble opinion, that she found when she was looking for stuff. And then she said she took it straight to the police department, and TikTok like shut her down that day. I think she had many, many, many followers, and TikTok shut her down that day. And the police said that they were going to arrest her. I don't think they ever did. I don't think that the Northport police ever followed up. They were saying that they were going to arrest her for interfering with the investigation. So I have a really hard time with that one. I try to bite my lip, but I just got to say, be careful. Be careful. And Rhonda says, have you watched Bleach, the documentary movie about Kurt? You know, Rhonda, I've watched most of them, so probably, but they all just like blend into one movie in my brain. I can't like, ferret them out one from another. Squirrely Burger says he hated the record labels forcing him to do things he didn't want to do. He just wanted to make music. Bon Bon, hey Bon Bon, haven't seen your name yet. Good afternoon. Says, yes, I agree. Toxic channel. And like I said, I really don't like to say anything negative, but it's just really rough when, some of these folks have a lot of viewers, and whatever they spew, people will buy. And they don't really, in my opinion, they don't care if it's the truth. They just want the paycheck. And I can't even imagine doing that. Literally, I can't even imagine. I mean, I am just so focused on trying to do what's right. And, I'm so happy to have viewers, and it doesn't matter to me whether it's 3 viewers or 3,000 viewers. I'm so happy to be able to do this platform with you guys, and I'm so appreciative. And I would never give you bogus information intentionally. If I ever give you bogus information, call me out so I can see what it is that I misunderstood. I'm happy to admit if I make a mistake, and I'm sure I've caught myself in many mistakes. I try to clear them up right away. It's why I review my videos regularly, so that I can say, wait, how did that come out of my mouth? Because I'm serious. You'll just be trying to say 20, but 20,000 will come out of your mouth. You might catch it while you're doing it. Little story here. Yesterday, I caught the lawyer called the criminal defendant the victim in an interview with the Florida Channel 8. And I hate to even point that out, but the only reason I am is because he didn't catch himself, and the other guy didn't catch it either. And I just thought, oh man, somebody's going to catch that, and they are going to just, he could have caught it and fixed it right away, but sometimes it comes out of your mouth and you don't realize it. Like your brain is saying one thing, your mouth is saying another. I swear I've watched myself on these videos, and I'm just like, how did I even say that? And how did I not catch it? So I'm just saying, we all make mistakes. We're all human. I feel like it's very important that we all try our hardest to put our best foot forward and, just be secure in the information that we're sharing. And if we're not secure in it, if we think it may or may not be true, to just say it like that. Say, well, this might be true, but it might not be. I haven't vetted it, or however it is. So have you watched, let's see, we got that one. I hadn't been here a while. I usually don't comment. Oh, well, hey, lurker. I know I sometimes lurk too. And sometimes it's because I don't have access to type, and other times it's just because I don't feel like putting that effort forth. It's nice just to listen. Annie Ruler says that channel is drama. KG followed her. Oh yeah, I know. Kaylee Gonzalez did, and when I saw that, I was like, "No, Kaylee, don't do that." That is how she got interviewed. It has been said Olivia got people fired. Wow, wow. She's also the one who had Jane Doe 1 and Jane Doe 2 in the Kylie Rodney case. You guys remember that? She was the one. So, I mean, I never bought anything about Jane Doe 1 or Jane Doe 2, even before I realized it was one and the same person. Because, like I said, TikTok shot her down, closed her down, and then she came back on YouTube. I think she has a TikTok again too. I don't know. I mean, she's a very attractive young woman, and a lot of people will watch simply because she's pretty. She seems like she knows what she's talking about, but unfortunately, not the case. And it's not too late to pull it together. I mean, I don't care who you are. It's fine to admit that you've made mistakes and try to make yourself better, no matter what, in my opinion. In my opinion. And Bon Bon says, I'm sure he didn't mean to do that. And let's see. Not sure who he is. I don't know if you're referring to Kurt Cobain or the Nothing Burger. Anyway, you guys, we're already at over half an hour. Let me just read a couple more of these. Oh, the lawyer. Thank you. Thank you, Bon Bon. Now it fits. The lawyer, is right. He definitely didn't mean to do it. What surprised me is that he didn't catch himself, and that the other guy didn't catch it either. That really surprised me. But you're just moving so fast, and there they are up on a panel, just the two of them, with like probably 20,000 people in chat. I mean, but then they have all these producers. You would have thought that the producers would have caught it and tapped him on the shoulder and said, "Hey, don't you want to fix that?" But that's just the way it goes sometimes. That's why it's good to know what it is that you're looking at, so that it's a mistake. Like when you Google things, Google does not always give you accurate information. You kind of have to know, and you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. So thanks, Bon Bon, for pointing out. Yeah, that was who you were speaking of. And Annie Ruler says stalking suspects, employment, Olivia goes too far. Oh, yeah, stalking people, not cool. I just have a policy for myself, my own channel, just to not go real life with anybody. It's just not cool. It's not safe. It's just not appropriate, in my opinion. That's how things should be done. I know that sometimes people want to get the scoop, or, if somebody reaches out to you and says, "Hey, I've seen your channel and I'd like to be on it to tell you my side of the story." I think that's appropriate. I think that's fine, but not to reach out to these people in their private lives. I mean, so many of them get bombarded by legit news people, and, not to say that YouTubers are not legit, but I just think that there should be a professionalism there, and just to leave people some privacy. Just that there's a tactful and responsible way to do things. And I think privacy is extremely important for all of us, but especially victims and victims' family members, because victims' family members are victims as well, right? So he stays very unbiased and sticks with the facts. You're talking about the lawyer, and yeah, I think what he says is great. And I was just shocked when I caught him say that yesterday. But I thought, that's just how it is. It's just a human thing. When you're talking, your brain's saying one thing, your mouth might be saying something else. And especially if you're a little nervous under a lot of pressure, unfortunately, they don't have the luxury like I have where I can go back and edit it. I don't like to edit it. It takes a lot of time. I don't like to make changes. I like it just to be an authentic tape. The live, I just like to leave it alone and just fix the mistakes in the comments. If they need fixing, if they need addressing. So, um, Poison Spivey, that's a funny name. I like it. Kylie's family actually were the ones to reach out to Olivia. Well, then that's different in my opinion. But I just can't get over the whole thing with that water bottle, and then with Jane Doe number 1 and Jane Doe number 2, and there's been other things too. So I was just kind of cringing when I heard that Kaylee followed that as a true crime aficionado. I think Kaylee and Madison were both into true crime, but I know Kaylee was for sure. Dilly Owen says, submitting my YouTube next week. It's nothing to do with crime. It's fine. I'll let you know when I post the first one. It will be on acrylic painting pouring. It would be funny. Trust me. Way cool. Kind of like Bob Ross. I love Bob Ross videos. Who doesn't, right? So I am going to wrap up. Let's see if there's anything. I did want to mention about just that, the rumors are that Kurt Cobain had been fearing for his life in the last days of his life. So you guys are probably familiar with that information. Um, and also, I was mentioning earlier today about satellite footage from these cases from true crime. And there could be satellite footage of these situations back in the 90s, all 3 or 4 of these situations. And let me just add that too, that I'm just kind of fascinated with the fact that with the Idaho 4, you have 3 females and 1 male. And then with the grunge scene in Seattle from 92 to 94, you have 3 females and 1 male. Just a interesting coincidence that I realized today as I was thinking, why am I refocusing on this right now? And I thought, well, maybe that's why. Maybe because it just struck a chord. Like, wow, it's 4. I mean, I identified that right away. Just, a quadruple situation is unusual. And then to realize that it's 3 females, 1 male. But yeah, that satellite footage is something that I think we're going to see much more of in upcoming cases, but it can also go back to cases as long as the satellite footage is available, depending on, how technology was, whatever year it was that the crime happened. So, just like DNA technology and advancements can solve really old cases that still need to be solved. I mean, how many sexual assault kits have not been processed where they have the DNA and they just need to throw it into the data bank and see if there's a match? Or with the whole familial, the family matching thing, like how they got this criminal defendant. All right, so I'm going to read the last couple and then leave you guys high and dry. Olivia should have been charged. She creates fake stuff all the time. It's unfortunate. It is really unfortunate. If you're interfering with an investigation, that's against the law. Absolutely. Sorry, Kaylee from Idaho family reached out to Olivia for the interview. Okay, I read that one. And then I went back to the one above it that I had missed. And hello, Michael McAllister says to everybody. My mod says hello. Hello and goodbye, you guys. And Sifa, I got some documents to send you on the Seattle stuff. Awesome. Yes, I am so excited to work with you on that, Sifa. That is going to be the bomb. So thank you for offering that. That was super kind and super cool. I think you'll have fun working on it too. And I think there's a lot there, a lot of some undiscovered justice that needs to come to fruition. Mrs. Amir Zaza says, "Oh, I wasn't aware. Don't like BHB, but thought nothing of Bullhorn Betty." And yeah, I think they operate together a lot. Not 100% sure. I just try to not look at it. Anyway, you guys, I hope you have a great afternoon. I'm sorry to have to wrap up so fast. And don't forget, drink your water, eat your protein, your fruits, your veggies, get your exercise, stretch, relax, get your fresh air, get some sunlight, take it easy, and just be super kind to yourself and as kind as you can be to those around you. Don't allow anyone to treat you the slightest bit unkind. Just don't. Just say no, 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 no. All right, you guys. Ross, nothing like Bob Ross. I would make him blush. You have to wait and see. And happy Friday the 13th, Esther. Any Friday the 13th is better than any Monday the whatever. Oh, that's cute. That's awesome. I've never heard that. Did you just make that up? Or is that a thing? Anyway, peace out, you guys. Thanks again. And I will see you hopefully over the weekend. So I usually try to do at least one over the weekend. See you then.